What if I told you one of the most unexpected celebrity relationships of recent times didn't just surprise the internet, it completely divided it? Because when Sure, and Lunell stepped into the spotlight as a couple, people didn't just react. They questioned everything. And the more the story unfolded, the more complicated it became. Before this unexpected chapter, Lunell had already lived a life full of experience, resilience, and independence. She wasn't new to love. Back in 2001, she married a man she often referred to as Mr. Rarely. It wasn't a traditional wedding. No big ceremony. No crowd. Just two people choosing each other away from the noise. Their relationship wasn't perfect. It had its ups and downs. But over the years, she made it clear he was more than just a partner. He was her support system, her advisor, her safe place. When he passed away years later, Lunell didn't hide her emotions. She spoke openly about love, loss, and the rare feeling of being truly complete, even if it didn't last forever. That kind of honesty is what made people connect with her. She wasn't trying to fit into anyone's expectations. She was just being real. And that's exactly what made her stand out. On the other side of the story is Sure, a name that once defined an entire era. In the late 1980s and early 90s, he wasn't just popular, he was everywhere. Smooth voice, charismatic presence, a rising star in R&B who quickly built a loyal fan base. His relationships also made headlines. One of the most talked about chapters of his life involved Kim Porter. Their connection started strong, and for a while, it looked like they were building something lasting. They welcomed a son together, Quincy Brown. But life had other plans. Their relationship ended, and Kim later moved on with Sean Combs, who would go on to play a major role in Quincy's upbringing. For years, there were questions, distance, and emotional gaps that never fully disappeared. But time has a way of reshaping relationships. Years later, Al and Quincy slowly reconnected. Not as the traditional father and son people might expect, but in their own way. Something more honest, something more real. And while all of this was happening, life continued to throw unexpected challenges at Sure. Health struggles, public absence, moments that forced him to step back from the spotlight he once dominated. But sometimes, life brings people together when you least expect it. And that's where Luenell re-enters the story. They didn't meet through a glamorous Hollywood event. It was something much simpler. A mutual connection, a shared circle. Nothing that screamed future couple. At first, there was no romance. Just conversation, familiarity, energy. But as time passed, something shifted. And then came the moment that changed everything. In 2023, during a live session, fans began noticing something different. The tone, the way they spoke to each other. Small details, but impossible to ignore. Words like baby, love. It wasn't confirmed, but it didn't feel casual either. People started asking questions. Was this real? Was it just playful? Or was something deeper happening behind the scenes? For a while, there were no clear answers, just speculation. Then came 2026, and everything became official. Photos were posted, captions made it clear. This wasn't a rumor anymore. This was real. And just like that, the internet exploded. Some people celebrated. They saw two individuals, both experienced in life, choosing happiness on their own terms. They saw confidence, freedom, a refusal to follow society's expectations. But not everyone reacted that way. Criticism came fast, and it came loud. People questioned the pairing, not because of anything they had done, but because of how they looked together. Their age difference became a topic. Their appearance became a topic. Even their intentions became a topic. Some called it unexpected. Others called it unbelievable. And a few went even further, suggesting it couldn't possibly be genuine. That it had to be for attention, for publicity, for relevance. Social media turned into a storm. Opinions everywhere. Judgment everywhere. And just like many viral moments, the noise started to drown out the reality. But Lunell didn't stay silent. She addressed the backlash directly. Not with anger, but with confidence. She made it clear that people weren't reacting to the relationship itself. They were reacting to what it represented. Because in many ways, this wasn't just about two celebrities dating. It was about perception. About how society views age, about how it defines beauty, about who is considered desirable and who isn't. And that's where things got uncomfortable for a lot of people. Because Luenell didn't fit the traditional image that the internet often celebrates. And yet, here she was, confident, unapologetic, loved publicly. For some, that was inspiring. For others, it challenged everything they believed. Even media outlets started analyzing the situation from a deeper perspective, not focusing on gossip, but on what the reaction revealed about society itself. The idea that women, especially as they age, are often overlooked, that their value is tied to appearance, that their time somehow expires. And suddenly, this relationship became more than just a headline. It became a conversation. Meanwhile, through all the noise, Sure and Lunell continued doing something surprisingly simple. They enjoyed their connection. They laughed. They showed affection openly. They didn't try to fit into anyone's expectations. And maybe that's what made it so powerful. Because in a world where everything is curated, filtered, perfected for approval, they chose authenticity. Of course, the attention came with consequences. Every move analyzed, every post judged, every interaction turned into content. That kind of spotlight can be overwhelming. But it also proves something important. People don't just watch celebrities. They project onto them their beliefs, their standards, their insecurities. And when something doesn't align with those expectations, the reaction can be intense. Sure, this relationship came at a time when he was rebuilding not just his career, but his life. After years of challenges, this was a different kind of spotlight. Not about music, not about fame, but about personal happiness. And for Lunell, it reinforced something she had always stood for. Living life on your own terms, without asking for permission, without shrinking to make others comfortable. And maybe that's the real story here. Not the shock, not the headlines, not even the controversy, but the fact that two people chose connection despite knowing exactly how the world would react. Because in the end, this isn't just about Sure, and Lunell. It's about us, about how quickly we judge, how easily we question what we don't understand, and how often we forget that behind every viral moment, there are real people, real emotions, real choices. So maybe the real question isn't why this relationship surprised everyone. Maybe the real question is, why did it make so many people uncomfortable? Because sometimes, the stories that shock us the most are the ones that reveal the most about ourselves.